Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC TV podcast from Male Fuzz TV. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Connor.
Yes, it is.
The enthusiasm, folks. Can you feel it? Can you feel it in your veins?
Saving the enthusiasm for the good shows. And the good news that we've got, frankly.
Good news? We have good news?
We have like 2 chunks of news. You haven't got this up at all, have you?
I forgot news was I forgot we did news, to be honest. You can tell me about it. You can tell me the news for once. That'll be fun.
This is a bloody shambles.
That'll be fun. This is a DC TV podcast. We talk about DC TV shows every week. We have 3 shows on the docket this week. We have a new episode of Doom Patrol, a new episode of Supergirl, and the returning episode of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. So that is what we'll be talking about this week. They have blessed us with a quieter week, and we shall make use of that quieter week because we had other things to catch up on. That's good news. Remember we went back at the start of the season when we had 6 shows a week? Remember that?
Yeah, 3's nice.
3 feels like a breeze. It feels like, it's basically a day off.
We actually got other stuff done tonight.
I know, it's madness. So, as was coming up on the show, next week will definitely be some archive material because next week there's no Supergirl.
No, I believe it's just Doom Patrol and Legends.
So we'll be doing some archive episodes of Gotham, Batman animated series, and maybe the Flash 90s as well. We'll see what we're going to fit in. We'll decide that throughout the week, but there'll definitely be 2 of those next week. So. Yeah. So that's what's coming up. So apparently we have some news. So Connor, by all means, you tell me.
Yeah. So
what's going on?
First off, the final season of Arrow will not feature Felicity.
Oh, that was since last week.
That was since last week.
Do you know what? I think that was like the day after we posted the last episode.
I think it was, but we definitely didn't talk about it because we hadn't got excited about it on the show yet.
That's fair. Yes. So Emily Bett Rickards, or whatever her name is. Richards? Is it
Rickards, I think, yeah.
That's Rickards, yeah.
I think you read the first time.
I think I questioned myself because Richards obviously sounds like a more normal name.
It does, yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah. So she announced that she is leaving the show at the end of the season, which is very curious because as much as obviously I am going to jokingly enjoy the fact that she's not going to be around for those last 10 episodes, which will make them more bearable, it is weird to me that basically the character who became the second main character, without a doubt, she was the second most important character. Season 3 onwards, she became the second pillar of the show, for better or worse. Definitely worse. It's weird to me that she's bailing out right before the final season. Now, I still expect we'll see her in the finale. She's just not going to be a regular for the final season. I expect she'll come back for the Swan song.
Yeah, she's off in some small town having a baby, remember?
That's right. I think we'll get a cameo in the finale still, but she'll be gone for most of the final season. Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. I would joke about her dying, but we know she doesn't die because we've got all this future bollocks. We know she's going to survive.
Yeah. We do, unfortunately.
So
here's I don't have to see her, so this is great.
She's going to leave to have the baby and hide at the end of the season. But there'll be the one time she left the house, but it will be in the season finale when she comes to help her.
Mourn Oliver.
Yeah, or Mourn Oliver, yes. The funeral.
She'll show at the funeral. Yeah.
Yes.
Baby in tow.
Dear. So yes. You're right, now that was big news. It's delightful. I can't believe I forgot it, to be honest. I'm ashamed of myself.
No, I'm ashamed of you too.
Yes. Excellent news. Excellent.
Yeah.
What else you got?
We had the panel I think it was at WonderCon about the DC Universe stuff.
Oh yeah, we got Stargirl's costume. You're right. Yeah, we got.
We got a date for Swamp Thing.
Yeah, May 31st, end of May.
So if I'm right, there's no week off between Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing.
Now that we know that Doom Patrol has 15 episodes, which was delightful news we got a couple of weeks ago, that does mean it'll lead straight on to Swamp Thing, and I am cautiously quite excited for Swamp Thing because DC Universe's own listings lists it as a horror show. You know, because if you look at Doom Patrol, it's like comedy drama. You look at Titans, it's like, I can't remember what it said for that, but it made sense whatever it said. But Swamp Thing said horror, and I'm like, yes,
interesting.
That should be the horror show. Yes.
Yeah, so, I'm looking forward to it. On Stargirl, they did tell us it was coming 2020, which is delayed from its original projection.
Yeah, but we're getting Titan season 2 instead now this year.
We are. They said in the fall, which will, if you look at that original, roadmap image that they put out, it's probably going to slot in right where Stargirl was for Titan season 2.
Probably. They're actually just going to start shooting although there's actually a little bit of unfortunate news to go along with this. Guess who's a season regular for season 2?
Oh no, I did see this. That
It's your main man. It's your main man,
Oh.
Jason Todd.
God damn it.
Oh dear. Although notably, I can't remember what article I was looking at, what site it was, but they actually listed the number of episodes that each of the new regulars were going to be on. Superboy is going to be in the most. He's like in like 10 of the episodes in season 2, and then him and then the Deathstroke kids are only in like maybe 6 or 7 each. So he's not going to be in every episode necessarily.
That's still too many.
But
that's too much Jason Todd.
He's officially a regular for season 2. But hey, we did get that Donna Koshimavilla back, which definitely implies she's going to be around more.
Oh, I really hope so, because she was probably the best part of the show.
Oh, she was good. Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic about season 2 of Titans.
Yeah. Look at that, actual news. Both of those things.
They were.
You really wanted them to be petty little stupid things, didn't you?
What did you think of the Stargirl outfit? Because we got this official image of Stargirl in her outfit.
It looks like Stargirl. It looks pretty good.
It looks good. I think what's notable, though, is that I remembered the one on Legends being okay, and I remember the one in Smallville being okay, but I saw photos of both of them compared to this new one, and I'm like, yeah, this is way better.
They're still... No, yeah, those ones, I still think they're fine.
They look cheap as shit compared to this new one.
They do look cheaper.
And it's not that this new one's high tech or anything like that. It's just got a good look. It's just got texture. The material looks good.
It's a different material, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the other ones look bad. I think they look fine. I definitely don't think they ever looked at a place on their respective shows.
That's fair.
But yeah, this one's better.
Like, because like the Legends one, I was looking, I said that just looks like a long sleeve shirt she's wearing, as opposed to this where it looks like an actual outfit, an actual costume.
Yeah, it's got that like latexy, leathery sort of look to it.
Yeah. It just looks like there's more meat to it.
Yeah.
So, no, that's good. I'm pumped for Stargirl. Character very close and near to dear A. John's heart. So, yeah. I'm expecting some deluxe treatment. And
yeah, that's the one that gets the special attention if any show does.
Yeah, because John's, because for those of you who don't know, John's based that character on his sister who passed away. So. It's a very personal character for John's. So, yeah, so it looked good. Yeah. There you go.
I think that was it for the news. But
I think there was a date for the second half of Young Justice as well. Like an exact date, but...
So I feel like it was in July.
Hmm.
That sounds familiar.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. I'm not going to find it now. I've glanced. July 2nd.
There you go. July 2nd.
There we go.
There you go. The Young Justice and Stranger Things in the same week. Look at
that. Life's good.
Yeah. Life can be okay sometimes. A lot of good TV coming this year. Right, there you go. That's news. Actual interesting news.
You're annoyed you forgot it, aren't you?
Best thing about this, although, is I got to use one of my gifts from Cabin in the Woods when they announced the Felicity was leaving. I got to use my gift of the little Japanese girl going, "The evil is defeated," and holding out her hand.
Yeah.
Go watch Cabin in the Woods if you haven't.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's an important film.
I've just Arrow's final season just got inherently slightly more bearable.
It's going to be weird not having Felicity for like 10 episodes.
Because it is going to be weird, because she's been, since back half of season 1, she was kind of brought in and got a bigger and bigger part as it went on, obviously.
And obviously Curtis is already gone, so I feel like, we're at least, whittling down the cast a bit for this final season.
Yeah. You got less episodes, less
dead weight thing. And the last 10 episodes is a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
So... What do you think the odds are that we get a Thea cameo at the end? That Thea's back in some capacity?
50-50.
50-50?
No, it depends if they can rope her into the crossover as well for Crisis. If they can rope her into the crossover, then absolutely we get her back.
Oh, do we get a Red Arrow version of Emmy from Another Earth at Crisis?
Oh man, that'd be cool. Here's the thing: if the last episode of Arrow is the funeral, like we kind of suspect it might be. If that's the case, I expect to see it. I expect to have, one of those classic, cover shots of, everyone stood around the headstone.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah, I would expect that. Thea, Roy, I don't know.
The
Curtis probably.
the zombie Moira.
Oh yeah, why
Ragman.
not?
Get Ragman back. He was,
Get Ragman back. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so we'll go into the shows there. We'll start with Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol, Season 1, Episode 7. It's called Therapy Patrol. And we kind of do the thing where it starts off with something later on in the episode and then says, okay, X number of hours earlier, earlier that morning. And we see that they're going in a sort of group therapy session that's kind of looks, I mean, not a real group therapy. It's something that,
It's led by Cliff, so it's terrible.
Cliff just kind of cobbled this together.
Therapy.
Yeah, that was making me laugh a lot. Honestly, almost everything he said when we actually got to the full therapy scene at in the last chunk,
comedy gold.
He was breaking me with almost every line of dialogue that he had.
Yeah.
The way he jumped in before Larry finished his thing, he just said because he assumed he was coming out to them as gay. He's like, "You're gay." He's like, "Let me finish." And it was like, it was clear that that's not. Obviously, it was part of his story because he was going to mention the guy he was in love with. But I don't think Larry even thought he had to come out. I think Larry.
Yeah, I think everyone else just knows this.
Yeah, but Cliff's like, "You're gay." Oh dear. Anyway, so we do this thing where we see how all of their mornings went, and they're all accompanied with one flashback. It's almost like they'll have a flashback before they wake up in bed.
Yeah.
Or most of them wake up in bed. Not all of them do, but most of them do. So we have Rita. I'm just kind of take them one by one. Rita, not necessarily in the right order. I can't really remember the order, but Rita was definitely first. She wakes up. She's all goo. And we have a flashback of her as a kid meeting her favourite actress, and it was kind of like her going down her path. And we learned that Rita Farr wasn't even a real name. That was a stage name.
It's a very classic Hollywood stage name, to be fair.
Well, it is, because it makes me think of Rita Hayworth.
That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah. So she pulls herself together, and she ends up her whole bit is basically she gets her shoe caught in the grating on a vent, and then melts into the vent, which leads down to the furnace, and then she's basically a sausage with a head.
She's a big slug blob.
But with her head.
With a head.
This is one of those moments where I'm like, this show's weird. Like, it's really weird.
And you've got her, what's her mantra? This is me. She's got a specific mantra that she repeats to kind of get a hold of herself. I am the person with an arm.
Yeah, and then an arm comes out, and then when she gets out the furnace, the arms disappear again. She's like, I am the person who's pissed off right now. I am the person. And she starts, going really
slugs climbing up the stairs.
Yeah, so that was her thing. And then Larry, basically, he's talking to the negative spirit again. We see him kind of, he's basically just how tired he is of bandaging himself up. He's sort of doing it slowly. He's going his foot, he's doing his arm, all the rest of it. And he's like, I don't want to do my head again. He's like, how about we just sleep in today, buddy? The thing lights up, and it kind of puts him in a flashback. Because for him, it's like a living flashback.
Yeah. All the others is just a flashback, whereas he experiences his quite literally.
It's basically the entity trying to talk to him. Whether or not he's actually, because I wasn't sure how to read it. Is like the boyfriend in the flashback, is he literally talking to him? Because I wasn't sure if it was quite that simple. It felt a bit more abstract than that.
It did feel a bit more abstract than that. I don't think it was as literal as that.
Yeah, but he gets frustrated and eventually, basically admits how frustrated he was of everything in his life, of how much he had to hide, of all these different things. Because he did actually have one real flashback of when he was a kid, and he heard his parents basically arguing about him being gay and how terrified they both were of it, especially the mother.
Their standing in society.
Yeah, and I think that's very relevant because it's clear that, okay, this is how young and this started to kind of implode upon his life and how much he's had to do to hide from everything. But I liked him calling out shit. He's like, no, the memory's not even exactly right. There's details that are wrong. The truck was this colour, not that colour. There was a train
different music. And,
yeah,
the train.
Just all these different bits.
Yeah,
were really neat.
Didn't really matter though. Ultimately, that wasn't the point.
No. The point was him accepting kind of everything that he's been. Part of why he's so self-loathing is because he's not accepted this. But so that was basically his thing. He just kind of wants to stay there and keep going. And one of the fun things is that as we're going through each of these segments, is it kind of ends more or less with Cliff saying, "Well, that you think that'll hurt me?" And then like a loud bang, and it's like, okay, what's going on with Cliff?
What's going on with Cliff? Yeah,
and we get there eventually, but
we get there.
And then Jane, she's switching between personalities, and she's looking at the tapes that Calder had on her. and then goes nuts and starts wrecking them. But then our personalities are saying, "Please stop," and it's kind of going back and forth, doing the whole
doing
thing.
some painting.
Yeah, the main thing really here that really stuck out to me is that the reason why she's acting out like this is because she found out that Calder basically was planning to dump her in that place, the Doom Patrol place.
Yeah. There's a big, one point where she has a painting of Calder and it's, got traitor over it. She starts punching through it.
Yeah, not in a good place.
No,
not at all. And then Cyborg, his whole thing was actually quite amusing. Other than the fact that he's waking everyone up to say, "Hey, meeting in 15 minutes." I actually kind of laughed when the first one he says to Rita, he's like, "Meeting in 15 minutes. The search for Niles continues." And I'm like, who speaks like this?
Cyborg speaks like this.
Stop it, Vic. But basically, he finds out that he's got a dating profile on like a Tinder style app.
Yeah, I think it was called Cash.
Yeah, and he's talking to a bunch of girls on it, and they're all just basically like, "Oh, you're Cyborg. Show me your metal parts." And he's like, "No, I don't want anyone who is only looking for me because I'm Cyborg." And he meets he starts talking to a girl that he kind of likes, this med student, and his system Grid basically assumes that he wants surveillance on her, so he gets a live feed from a bus as well as all these like private photos that he's not supposed to be seeing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't want this. This is creepy. This is like stalker levels."
It's like you say that, but subconsciously you did want this.
Well, no.
That's what Grid's response kind of is to him.
Well, yeah, no, but I think Grid's misinterpreting what his subconscious actually wants.
No, I get that. I'm saying that's what Grid's response was.
Basically, Grid doesn't know how to understand like that desire of him being excited that he's maybe met someone he likes and this desire to know more about them. Grid interprets that as, here's all the info I can find on her. Where no, that's not natural. Yeah. That's not how this works. He's excited to talk to her and find out more. Yada yada yada. But anyway, so we have this heartbreaking scene where he takes a photo of himself, and I love how he's a bit of a dumb jock when he does it because he lifts up his shirt. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to show off my metal abs."
Yeah.
So some of his jockey past kind of comes out here as he does this, but we have this really sad moment where we actually get to watch her reaction through the live bus feed, and she looks horrified and
doesn't respond.
Yeah. And he's like, "Okay, just delete that stupid dating app profile, please, Grid. I don't want it."
Do you know what my biggest disappointment of this sequence was?
The Booyah segment?
Yeah, we never got the Booyah.
Yeah. Well, he technically says it when he says, "I've ever said Booyah."
Yeah, that's not a Booyah.
He's like, "You said it 39 times since the accident. That's enough."
That's above average for a catchphrase.
Yeah, I think the phrase was, "It's well above the threshold for a catchphrase to be born."
Yeah.
He's like, "Damn it, I've got a catchphrase."
It's a good catchphrase. Keep it going, Vic.
So we have that, and eventually we have Cliff, and Cliff is mad about the whole thing with his daughter and the guy, his what do you call him? His racing partner dude, who became the new father for his daughter.
Yeah,
and so this one's a bit weird because he drives off, because there's a couple of weird scenes early on where he's trying to eat toast and stuff like that, and all the rest of it. But he drives off, and I'm like, but we know he's still at the house this morning because the thuds.
Yeah. But he's flooring it in this van.
Yeah.
He's throwing Pringles at himself, going, "I'll eat whatever I want to eat."
Very old kind of Pringles as well, because the label's all faded. But he busts out of the house and he's like, "Yeah, it's Cliff. Recognize my voice." And he's just like, "You think you could be my daughter's father?" And he's like, "You died. I just took her in. I didn't want her." And then he's like, and then it becomes a bit of a fight, and he pulls out a shotgun. He's like, "Oh, you think that'll hurt me?" And I'm like, "Wait a minute." That's what he said. Yeah. And then the shotgun blast isn't like a shotgun blast. It looks like this wave. And then, of course, it clicks that that's Cyborg's cannon. That's his arm cannon. And you realise that he's hallucinating. And it's, literally after that, we see the dude start saying Cyborg's lines. But we hear Cyborg's voice, but it's the dude in his vision.
Yeah.
And it eventually snaps out of it. And this is when he gets his therapy idea where he's like, therapy. So we get this scene where they all kind of open up, and Larry's is kind of heartbreaking and feels like he actually admits some stuff. Rita admits some stuff. Cyborg admits that he basically killed his mother, accidentally, of course.
Yeah.
But that was another.
Rita's actually all for it. She talks herself back into having legs.
She does, yeah. One of the funniest things that Cliff said actually was when Cyborg, just blotted out, "I killed my mother." Cliff says, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's go."
That killed me. That was my moment of the episode. Him go, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." It's like, oh, this is a juicy one.
Yeah, or even at the start of the episode where he's like, Mr. Nobody will F you in the heart, he will F us in the soul, he will F us in the mind. And I don't know about the rest of you, if you're into your soul being effed, I don't want to judge, but any of us who don't want our souls to be effed, let's get to some therapy.
I'm pretty sure Cliff is the greatest character on TV right now.
He's fantastic. But he goes haywire again and starts attacking everyone.
It's after he kind of confronts Jane.
Yeah, he confronts Jane. Actually, it's a really heartbreaking thing because they both say something really hurtful to each other. She says to him, what does she say to him? What's the exact line?
I'm trying to remember the line. It was... I'm not going to get the exact line, am I?
It was awful anyway. It was he responds with, well, I'm the only one around here who likes you, and I only like 1/64th of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as bad as what she just said to him was, that was really cold.
That was worse. And she storms off, and the rest of them are like, Cliff, what the hell?
Oh, I remember.
Way to de-escalate the situation.
It was, you can't be a father because you're not even a man. That was it.
That was it.
That was it. So he goes haywire again, and they have to, Cyborg has to put him down. But when he goes down, a rat comes out of his mouth.
It's probably his mouse.
It's a
field mouse.
Mouse comes out of his mouth and runs off.
And then we get one last flashback.
We get one last flashback. Well, this is the thing. At the start of each not each flashback, but at the start of each person's segment, when it cut up,
comes up with their name. Bold letters.
Big bold white letters. So it cuts to black, and then these big white letters come up again, and it says Admiral Whiskers.
I was not prepared for Admiral Whiskers.
I was not prepared for Admiral Whiskers. I
just when I think this show is beyond surprising me, it throws me Admiral Whiskers.
Yeah, and it cuts back to 6 weeks ago, or as the narration says, or it says in narration 6 episodes ago. But then Mr. Nobody starts talking. He starts narrating, and this mouse. The mouse's mother crosses the road as they were leaving in the bus and runs over. So this kid mouse wants revenge on Cliff.
It doesn't at first. Mr. Nobody's talking. It's like, hey, you need to get revenge.
Yeah, it talks him into it.
Hey, I'm a little woodland creature. We don't do vengeance. And Mr. was like, hey, is that what your mother told you? Well, look at her. Go be vengeance.
So the mouse crawls in his hole in the arm from the fight from last time, and apparently causes all this stuff. And Joe was funny as I was like, what's the scene after this going to be? But there wasn't a scene after this. It was just the mouse goes in, credits.
Yeah. Was when the mouse turned up, was that supposed to be a Princess Bride reference? Was that, my name is Admiral Whiskers. You killed my mother.
No, I thought it was going to be because the line is, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. But it never said.
It said prepare for vengeance.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it's kind of close enough that I'm assuming that's
maybe it is. It never went full circle for me though. If it said prepare to die, I'd have said yeah, sure. But
no, I get that. But because it was only one word off and the formatting was the same, I assumed it was still supposed to be.
I don't know, maybe. But no, delightful ending to the episode.
I love this show. This just that therapy scene might be one of the best scenes of the show so far.
Yeah, I think I like this episode a lot, but I think one of the things I like about it more than actually what's in it is just the idea that it's willing to slow down and have just this character episode where it's just them working through the shit that we know they're all going through.
It's just them in the house.
The idea of Rita getting over who she used to be and wanting to be better. She admits that Rita Farr was not a nice person. The idea of Larry finally admitting all the things that went on and telling them about it. All these admissions going around and getting all this stuff off their chest. I actually felt like it was like, no, we need this moment. We need them to all understand each other better.
Yeah, definitely.
And it felt like they bonded. It felt, and I like that it slowed down and it wasn't another wacky. Even though there was some wacky elements with the mouse and the slug Rita, but this was a out and out character episode, and that's what the point of it was. And I feel like we're getting closer and closer because I think both Rita and Jane refer to Niles put those other people in the Doom Patrol and just left them there to forget. I think we're getting closer and closer to them saying we are the Doom Patrol. We're getting closer to that, but delightful. So we'll move on then to Supergirl Season 4, Episode 17. It's called All About Eve. Speaking of classic movies and references to such. You're familiar with the movie All About Eve, I assume?
Yes.
Okay, just check.
I was trying to nod and adjust my headphones at the same time. It was more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
Yes. So, no Lex this episode. So when we heard it was a 3-episode thing, I guess his last one might be the finale. We might not see him again now till the last episode.
Yeah, which is a bit weird.
I guess they want to set him up and then bring him back and have him be there for the big bombastic ending. So there's a couple of things in the episode that I don't like in this episode. But
Yeah, me too.
ultimately, where it went and what it's doing, I actually really liked it. I think one of my key things is that at the start of the episode, Supergirl and Jean are looking for Lex, and Jean falls out of the sky. His powers are kind of like failing him, and there's a scene after the opening title, which I thought, just on an editing point of view, I thought his first line of dialogue happened too quickly. Like, there was no beat to the scene before he started talking. It was like, it came into the scene and immediately says, "Oh, thanks for saving me, Kara." And I'm like, "Whoa, that was quick." It was just a little timing thing. But he starts talking about how, this scepter was next to my father when he died. Maybe I can conjure his spirit for counsel. And I went, "Wait, what? What did you just throw at me there?" Like, you're pulling this so just out of nowhere. This is out your ass.
To the point where all episode, when he was talking with his father, I'm like, so he's not here, right? Because it can't be.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. So that made me groan / roll my eyes / whatever cynical reaction you want to have to a moment like that where you're like, oh, this writing is just pulling something out of its ass. Here's the thing. I enjoyed everything with him talking to his father because his father was cracking me up. He was genuinely really funny, and I actually really liked the emotional culmination of the whole thing, where Jean actually gets angry and kind of, it's actually very similar to one of the things in Doom Patrol, where ultimately he needs to accept who he is as opposed to what he was trying to be for his father's sake.
He's got to be a manhunter.
Yeah, and he actually kind of embraces that persona. I guess by the end of this episode, he's like, I am the Martian Manhunter. He yells at his father. I won't do it your way. I won't lie about it. I will do it my way, and at least then I know who I am. I'm the Martian Manhunter, right? Yeah. I like that scene.
Helps that Howard's a pretty damn good actor to pull this off.
The acting really, the acting and the music were the two things that really made it work. The music was ramping up. He was getting really emotional in an angry way, but it really it worked. And I was like, my misgivings of how they introduced this at the start aside, I actually ended up kind of liking this. I did appreciate at the end. It turned out it was all kind of in his head. It wasn't like
that's the thing. I was expecting that the whole time, so I was like, okay, good. It is just that. Yeah, there was none of that actual bullshit going.
And not even just that. The fact that like he acknowledges with his father that I know you're not really here. This is all coming from me more than from himself rather than it is him. But no, it was the way he was just being nonchalant about taking the Martian heritage back from him, and then they would be like, he was going to leave. He's like, oh, but I will stick for coffee though. That brown water that I was really into. Just all those little bits. So that.
Good.
So the main plot though was Supergirl and Lex and Lena, because obviously Lena, Alex, and Supergirl end up kind of teaming up. So there was 2 lines in this episode that are in competition with a line from Legends for title of this episode. Yes.
Okay. Go on then.
Right. One of them is I come offering donuts.
Good line.
Supergirl showing up at the DEO with a box of donuts as if that'll be the
And I like that Haley's like, we'll take the donuts.
Yes, we'll take the donuts. I'll allow Alex Danvers to work with you on this case if I can have the donuts. Yes, give her them.
It worked.
All of a sudden, Haley's a lot more relatable to me than I ever thought she could be. So that's great. I want a donut now, damn it. And then the other one was my crazy Lex girlfriend. Come on.
I didn't like that one.
Oh no, come on, that's good. It's gold.
It's not.
That's a proper good pun. And it's cross promotion as well with their own content, which I especially appreciate.
Is that show even on anymore?
I think it's ending this year.
I feel like it's already finished, but I don't know.
It may have already finished, but it was this season.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know, I like that. So, key things I liked about the main plot. I dug that Supergirl actually turned around and said, you know what, you're right, I'm being a dick about this kryptonite thing.
about bloody time.
I know.
It's only taken 2 seasons.
It's taken a while, but she's finally turned around and said, you know what? You've actually done a lot of good with this stuff. You've saved multiple lives. I probably shouldn't demonize this the way I'm doing it. I'm sorry.
Feels a little hypocritical that it comes right after, oh, one of my best friends was saved by this? I suppose it's all right then.
I don't see that as hypocritical. I think that's you being cynical. Like, to me,
Maybe.
that's just something personal. Because how many times in stories do you make the point to someone by having it affect someone personally, so they actually feel the benefit of it?
I get that. It feels easy, given how much she was against it, and then doing it this way. If it comes across as a little cheap and hypocritical to me, even though I'm glad it's over and done with.
I don't think it's cheap and hypocritical because she lists like 3 or 4 things. It's not just that one thing. That's the final thing. That's the what it puts it over the edge, as it were.
Fair enough.
So I think this is you being cynical, and
it might be
because I actually really like this scene. I think her turnaround scene that was surprising, and then even Lena was like kind of surprised. It was like, oh,
yeah,
I respect that. What was that noise?
It's a hiccup that I was trying to hold in, and it didn't work.
No, we got this other disgusting noise instead.
No, that was the hiccup being held in.
Didn't sound like a hiccup. It sounded like you were swallowing something unpleasant.
Yes, the hiccup. Has to go somewhere.
Oh dear. So no, I like that scene. And I ultimately really like the plan here that Lex seems to have, which is to discredit Supergirl by making her look like an absolute nutjob terrorist. Because the last 10 minutes of this episode is Russian Supergirl. Was it Snowbird? She's going by. She
stupid name.
She dresses up as Supergirl. Eve's got her in position, and she attacks the White House, and she kills a bunch of like Secret Service dudes with her heat vision, and then puts her symbol on top of the White House and flies off.
It's a hell of a statement.
Hell of a statement, and obviously it's all over the news, and the president puts out a statement saying, she's an alien, we're humans, and we stand together. And
it makes the repeal of the Alien Amnesty Act go through really easily.
Yeah, well, that happens first.
It does, but I mean, it helps with the public opinion.
Oh, sure, yeah. The humans afterwards are obviously a lot more accepting of it.
Yeah.
So that happens. I liked all that stuff, and I also kind of like the setup at the end where Alex and Lena are both like, you know what? No, we know you didn't do this because this isn't you. And I think there's even a moment where I think Lockwood's like, this isn't really her.
Like, yeah, that is weird. He knows something's going on. Right?
Yeah, like he's probably happy to accept the win, but he's like this. I think even he's suspecting that something's not quite right here.
Yeah. I feel, are we going down a point at the end of the season where Lockwood's gonna come around a bit? Like,
I think
feels like it's a lot to kind of bring him back from where he was.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like it if he comes all the way back around. I do think that Jimmy hinting that he's involved with Lex, and then ultimately realizing that maybe he has been set up somewhat by Lex or prodded by Lex into doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
I feel like this might be, if he has a line, the line might be actually doing a terrorist act with an alien to alter public image kind of thing. Like that might be his line. But then again, he was kind of like, he was going to do some pretty shady shit when he was Agent Liberty. There was that whole thing with the statue and the island and all that. He was doing some pretty heinous shit, so maybe not. But
that's what I mean. It feels like it would be a lot to bring him back from it.
Yeah,
but it felt to me at the end of this like they were going to look at doing. I don't know if they will, but it felt like okay, they set up the potential to move in that direction.
I think the idea might be that a human being's behind all of this, like for him.
Yeah,
that he's going to care more about like dealing with Lex than he is. Because I actually thought for a second Lockwood might die in this scene. I thought this might be the end of him. Yeah, I thought like Snowbird would heat vision him.
I would have been fuming if that happened.
And make him a martyr, but make everyone hate Supergirl even more because it's it's like she's killed him because she had beef with him kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, Lockwood's still around. I think Lockwood will not like the idea that Lex is in any way been behind his mission, what he's been up to.
No, not at all.
Also, we get a random Metallo fight in the middle of this actually.
Yeah, because why not?
Because Lex was working in and Eve was working on resurrecting other villains, and a lot of them failed. For some reason, Otis was the one that worked.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I typically like this, but I thought the pacing was a little bit weird. I thought the first half was a bit slow going, and then it picked up a lot in the second half. The only plot line I outright dislike is Jimmy's PTSD and his sister, and you gotta get help. I'm fine, I don't need help. You need help, just leave. Oh, I do need help. Okay, let's hug.
Yeah. Are they gonna do a thing where he gets powers?
Yeah, this is the thing. He should have powers technically because everyone else who's been cured by this thing has powers. Lex has powers. Otis seems to have some level of extra ability.
Yeah.
Jimmy should have powers now, right?
There was a thing early in the hospital, right, where something moved. Like.
Yeah, I thought that was just like because it was a bang, it was like a gunshot, so it made him freak out. So it was just kind of.
I did too, but I also thought, is that supposed to be a hint at something?
Maybe.
I don't. I'm going to be asked with dealing with Jimmy with powers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Jimmy's plots have largely been bad for a long time now, or at least at best redundant.
Yeah.
If not outright bad. So yeah, I'm not thrilled with the idea of where this is going. But...
And you've got him going, oh, wait, it was Eve that shot me. Lex is behind it all, damn it.
Yes. Lena was a bit better this episode. I mean, I still don't necessarily love the stuff with her mother. But at least with Supergirl, I actually found myself kind of... Once the apology happened, I was kind of enjoying the camaraderie that was kind of going on there.
Back to normal.
Yeah. We got the three ladies kind of like teaming up. Jean doesn't even know what's going on. He's going to Mars to bury this.
It's a real bad time for him to be out of commission. Isn't it?
Yeah, he might have checked in with everyone first before he decided to go off. I'm sure he's only going to be on for an episode or two, but still, should have checked in probably first. We have that weird thing where one of the main cast is missing. Nia's like they mentioned, Nia's at the fortress trying to dream where Lex is, and then we don't see her the whole episode. I'm like,
I wish they just didn't mention it.
I know, it's weird. They didn't have to mention it.
Because, do we even see Brainy?
We do, yeah. Brainy gets his ring back.
Oh, he has the one scene with the ring. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I wasn't really thinking the whole episode. Oh, what's Brainy doing?
Yeah.
Because obviously he was having that one scene, they didn't feel the need to mention it. If they hadn't mentioned Nia, I'd be like, okay, Nia's just off somewhere. She's just not needed here.
Yeah. A little bit odd.
Yeah.
All the CW shows are guilty of it though. Flash more than any. But
Flash is the worst. Although to be fair, Arrow used to be particularly bad.
Oh yeah, Arrow started with all that Thea nonsense for like
every week. Thea needed a different excuse.
Yeah. Oh, she's away at this conference. Oh, she's away doing this. She's away saving babies at Beirut or something. I don't know. Like, it was just all these random excuses. Oh dear. I quite like most of this episode though.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I feel like Supergirl has actually mostly been I mean, there's always been at least one or two things I've disliked, but it's been mostly pretty solid for the last 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, it's been a cut above the others, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, between Flash and Arrow, this is like way above those two. I mean, it's unfortunate that this week it's competing with Doom Patrol and Legends, which are typically the better shows. But like, if this is the weakest thing I'm watching in a week, I'm a pretty happy dude for DC TV.
Yeah, me too. This was not bad, perfectly enjoyable, pretty good.
Couple of really good moments. I like the apology. I like Jean kind of embracing Martian Manhunter. I like the whole White House stuff at the end. Like I liked all that. So
yeah, me too.
Because by the way, we should mention Carol was trapped in an exosuit which was infused with kryptonite to trap her in place.
Because she was tricked by Eve because it was I'm gonna go find her. Oh look, that car has an X-ray scatter shield. Must be that one, and then it was a hologram. Which
is fine logic. I don't think she's stupid for falling for this.
No, I don't. I think it's almost she's stupid, naive, falling for the obvious thing, right?
I think here's what I think it is. I think she's naive. Oh, she's not naive. I think we were all naive in assuming that Eve wasn't this smart.
That's fair.
Eve's a bit more diabolical than I think we were expecting. I think anyone was expecting. Actually, if I have one little nitpick of a moment that bugged me, is the moment where they realise Eve's in Washington in the White House is because there's actually like a broadcast from the White House, and one of the people, she's got like a cloaking device that Brainy has, the image inducer, and it like flickers for a second. You see Eve, and I'm like, millions of people must have seen that.
Yeah.
No one's asking why someone's like pretending to be someone else.
Yeah, that's suspicious as shit.
No one else is questioning this. I mean, I know in the scene,
Especially given that the main reason people use these
yeah.
are because they're aliens.
And
this is an announcement about repealing the Alien Amnesty Act.
And I know the scene itself plays it like they're not really paying attention to it. They just happen to notice it, kind of thing, right? Because they're just having a conversation. But lots of other people weren't doing it that way. Lots of other people were just watching it because it was.
Yeah,
the news.
you know that was up on YouTube in 20 seconds, and people go, "What the hell is this conspiracy?"
I know. Yeah, the people would be asking questions, but. Also, still digging Snowbird's accent, especially when she's saying things like, "I speak English better than you do."
Yes, she also speaks with a better accent than you do.
Than I do. I mean, of course, you just have to. You have to point that out. I don't claim to be doing that well.
Then just don't do the accent.
No. I'll do as many bad accents as I feel like.
Oh, for God's sake!
Diplomatic immunity.
Wrong show. Wrong show, damn it.
I don't know, we got Russians in this now. I think some of them do have diplomatic immunity.
No, they don't. None of them have diplomatic immunity.
Diplomatic immunity.
The Kremlin would just disown them all, and you know it.
I have diplomatic immunity. I was getting closer.
No, you weren't.
Get closer. In Mother Russia, we...
Oh, for God, you're getting worse. This is terrible.
In Mother Russia, in Mother Russia, diplomacy has immunity.
You quite done?
Yeah, I'm done. No, Supergirl was pretty solid. Couple of things here or there to complain about. Some stupid leaps in logic. The introduction to why this scepter has, like, you know, you can conjure his father's mind through it, or, you know, that was just like out of nowhere. But
yeah, Martian bullshit.
I was expecting a rough episode after the first couple of minutes, but honestly, once it smoothed out, I was into it.
It was alright, yeah.
So, no, that's Supergirl. Which takes us on to DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which is season 4, episode 9. It's called Lucha de Apuestas. I can't speak Spanish. I don't know how to say that.
I have to go and look at this.
Here you go. Lucha D, I'm feeling pretty confident on, but the last word, not so much.
Let's have a look. Lucha de Apuestas.
Sure. I'll go with that. So, Legends are back. We're dealing with the beast that Mona...
Cope.
Sorry?
Cope.
The Copy, whatever, the beast. That Mona left out of the cell. Although, of course, the debate in this episode is that did she let it out finally, or did these men in black, these mysterious, you know, government dudes come in and let him out and make it look like, and doctor the footage, because that's the subplot that Nate has with Zari, which got kind of flirty, and I'm not even mad actually, because this is the thing. He says, okay, right, he's like, oh, that's my dad's phone number, so we need to get his phone to like track down this footage and see what it actually was. And he's like, okay, he's doing this fundraiser thing tonight. I've got a +1. Let's go and do this. And there was nothing even about it that felt like she had to specify anything, but she awkwardly kind of went, as long as it's not, we don't have to pretend to be on a date or anything like that. It's like, no, we don't have to do that. And she walks out and he's just got this smirk in his face. He's like, she didn't have to say that. The fact that she felt the need to say that says everything.
Yeah. And then she comes up, you know, dressed all swanky, and is introduced immediately as his girlfriend.
Yes, and Nate's mom's like, "Oh, look at those strong, childbearing hips," and Zari is like blushing immediately. It's glorious, and I'm like,
delightful.
I didn't know I wanted Zari and Nate as a couple, but I'm leaning towards being for it now. Go for it, especially since Nate's somehow coming off feeling like the cool one, the confident one in the pair.
Happens.
I don't know how that's happening, but it is. So, yeah, so they're looking, and there's actually more comments. Like at one point, like, you know, what does his mother say? Something about think grandkids or something like that. At one point, she's hinting again she wants grandkids.
No, she outright says, and it's like, hey, you know, I hope we get grandkids soon. You know, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, look, that wasn't the same scene. There's something later on.
Later on.
Yeah, there was something
Right.
later on where she was just like repeating like grandkids, or something like
Right.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, so that was a really fun subplot, and ultimately, like, he brings it up to his father, and Hank is all like, you have to understand, there's good reasons for this. And you think he's going to rebel, and then he doesn't, and you're like, oh no, Nate. But no, it's all a ruse. He's got Zari behind a curtain, like literally behind the curtain. It's like, okay, so we've cloned his phone, we're going to get to the bottom of this, right? And it's like, yeah. So they're investigating his dad, so that's a plot we've set up. Mona breaks out of the hospital because Gary comes to fire her. He's very mad at her. But Mona steals his memory inhibitor and flashes him like 4 times. So he's basically left as just this blank slate.
Classic Gary.
And he shows up back at the headquarters.
After being in the hospital for most of the day because they have Jello.
Yeah, because he's gone for like half the episode, and he shows back up at the headquarters, and he's wearing nothing but the hospital gown. And Ava's like, shut that hospital gown before I call HR, Gary. And he's like, I don't know where I am or where I came from. I don't know what happened to my nipple. Where's my nipple? Where's my nipple?
Oh, it's happy in stitches.
Which, for the record, is the 3rd contender for the title of the episode. Is Where's My Nipple?
Oh.
But
it's a good week when there's lines from all of them that it could be, right?
Yeah. Therapy. Or Winner Chicken Dinner is also a good
Winner Chicken Dinner would have been mine.
Yeah. There's like 5 options spread across all 3 shows, which is a really nice thing to have.
It is.
So that's going on. So, but the main thing is that the legends that are not involved in these plots are actually off to Mexico because the copay goes to Mexico City because Mona uses the time device to shove him off,
which she just gets from Gary when she flashes him. It's like, hey, just give me a thing.
Yeah, and he ends up in Mexico. He ends up as a Lucha Libre, and they show up, and it's kind of the B squad. We got Mick, we got Constantine, and we got Ray. Who's convinced he's the captain, the interim captain.
Sarah does leave him as the interim captain.
Yeah, after he shows a petition by the crew to make him the interim captain.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time believing they signed it. I guess they just wanted rid of him. He was probably giving them some big speech.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, he's probably giving some big speech why they should let him be the captain. He's like, no, fine, Ray, I'll just sign it. Go away.
Shut up, haircut.
Oh, dear. One of my favourite things, actually, is that Mona's, like, quoting from a book, and then it's Mick's book, and Mick starts to... He sort of finishes the whole, like,
pretty
plot.
Quickly. He's like, oh, that book? And it's like, oh, God, that's Mick's book.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you've read it? He's like, I've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
And then later on, he's like, you don't know how the story ends, and he tells her how it ends. Like, but the next book's not published yet.
He's just like, I know things.
Oh, it was delightful. So they're dealing with that, and they have to teach him how to lose because they have to go back to Mexico City because if they just take him away, then people think there's a conspiracy and it leads to like, this uprising and like all this conflict. So they have to go back and let the actual hero wrestler beat him in a wrestling match. So they have to teach him how to lose.
Yeah, is this one of those times where this one's based on a real person? Because obviously, Constantine's like, I love all the films and stuff.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, at least I mean, I as much as I am familiar with wrestling, I'm not familiar with Lucha Libre Mexican wrestling. So, if it is, then
yeah,
unbeknownst to me.
I don't know. It could be, but I would just it was one of those where I wasn't sure, but I can't remember the name well enough.
Yeah,
to check.
But yeah, so that was basically that plot. And he has his big victory. What I did think was interesting, though, later on when they actually try and fight him, the Kopei does actually do a couple of wrestling moves to them. He does a suplex to one of them, which really made me laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very amusing. And yeah, so that was basically it. Another big thing, the drama of the episode is that Ava's pissed at Sarah for going behind her back because there is actually a conspiracy, but is pissed that she wasn't trusted. And it's set up a bit of a fracture between them for the time being.
They have a fantastic dance sequence where it's this very elaborate dance that they're both doing just without even paying attention, and they're having this argument while they're doing it.
Yes, and Sarah's trying to tell her everything, but Ava's like, no, we have to go by the book, and she's like, no, but if there's corruption within the bureau, we have to sort of go outside of things.
Yeah.
So it leaves them in this place where they're mad at each other. Well, at least Ava's mad at Sarah. Sarah's not so mad at Ava.
Yeah.
But they're
Sarah's like, okay.
in an off period for now until things are sorted. But that was
They'll be sorted soon. They'll be fine.
Oh yeah, as we all hope. Praise Bebo.
Yeah. Oh, that was there was a moment in Doom Patrol. It was in Cliff's vision, where the guy said he said praise Bebo. Well, not whatever it was praise, but he said it like Bebo, and I was like, was that meant to be Bebo?
I never noticed this.
Oh, he shouts out. It's as the guy, as in the vision, the guy's attacking him, and then in the house.
Yeah.
It's during that scene.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go back.
It's definitely there.
I'm gonna have to go back and check this. If there's a Bebo reference in Doom Patrol, they're getting points.
Yeah.
But no. So Legends was back with a solid episode. Maybe not one of its standout episodes, I would say. It's kind of just a typical solid episode of Legends.
Yeah, but a typical solid episode of Legends is still pretty damn good.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great.
We said to compare to Supergirl, we said Supergirl was a pretty good episode, right? Had some arguably it had some higher highs than this did in its moments.
I would say so. Yeah.
But I think it was more uneven. Typically, we said how in the last handful of episodes, but there's been a plot or two here or there that we've just not been into, right, in every episode. This doesn't have any of that. It's very consistent, this show.
It does. It does. Some fun moments. I liked. There wasn't a whole lot of. Charlie. I was trying to remember her new name.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not Amaya. It's a new name. Charlie. Yeah. She's not got a lot to do in this episode, but she does actually get a bit fun when she's at the wrestling and the chaos breaks out, and she just starts. She grabs the mic and just starts doing like commentary essentially.
Yeah. I liked her and Constantine kind of bringing Ray down to the dark side.
Yeah, that was a fun scene. Yeah, they're talking him into going back to the past because they don't want to do his cards saving the time. Well, it was Cards Against Humanity, but with his weird theme. I did like them poking fun at past villains, where they're like, Vandal Savage, what kind of a name is that? And he's like, and I thought Damien Dark was a little bit on the nose.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
They have him corrupting Ray and him doing his wrestling announcement voice.
Yes. So that was all delightful. I kind of liked how they were dealing with that as like a mini team. Whilst like Sarah was dealing with Ava and Zari and Nate were doing the stuff with Hank. Like I felt like there was nice. It felt very casual and natural how it was doing all these things without ever feeling like.
It's impressive. There was three very quite separate plots in that regard with the groups of characters, but it felt very well paced and naturally split.
Yeah, it did. So. Also, when Mick shoots Mona with a trank gun, he's like, "What sort of gun is this?" And then Ray's like, "Wait, were you trying to shoot her?"
And then it cuts to the titles.
Yeah. Oh, Legends is delightful.
Oh, I'm so glad to have it back.
And the best thing about taking that big long break is that there's no breaks now. It's just every week until it's done.
Oh, that feels good, doesn't it?
Uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted Legends for 8 weeks.
I think it's 7, but yeah.
Shut up! Don't ruin this.
Because there was 9 before Christmas.
Don't ruin this.
So there was 7 left. Yeah. There we go. So that has been the shows. That has been the 3 new shows this week. We shall pick our favourite of the week.
Annoyingly, it's still Doom Patrol.
It's still Doom Patrol. But I would like to say I enjoyed all 3 shows. There was nothing this week where I was like, oh, I'm annoyed that I still watch this thing.
That's true. I didn't have to get blackout drunk this week. My liver.
But you will next week because we're going to do Gotham. So
give me peace, damn it.
By the way, they revealed the final look of the Joker on Gotham this week. I don't know if you saw that image.
I saw it. It looks terrible.
I actually can't wait. I almost think, see, when we get to the end of season 1, you know how we swapped shows last time? We'll probably We'll swap other stuff, but I kind of want to keep Gotham on because I want to get to the crazy. I want to get to all the shit that it's going to do.
You just don't want to go back to Smallville.
Hell, I'll do Smallville plus Gotham. I'll do the twofer.
You crazy bastard! Are you trying to kill my liver?
That's a good reason. Well, you didn't drunk watch Smallville last season.
No, but I probably should.
Yeah, that'll be the drunk twofer. That'll be Smallville and Gotham back to back.
Replace Flash and Arrow.
Well, Arrow's not going to exist after next season, so you're going to have to replace it with something.
I am. That's true.
Anyway,
get used to my weekly blackout.
yeah, I'll pick Doom Patrol, but all three were good to take a rate. So that's a good week at DC TV. So let us know what you thought of the 3 episodes in the comments. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. We can get some stuff early, some bonuses, exclusives. Gives you a nice handy list of all the things we do as well. So go over there and have a look-see. And see what tickles your fancy. Anything else worth promoting? I mean, we have comic book podcasts. We have Comics from the Multiverse, which is all DC comics. We have Elsewhere in the Multiverse, which is the non-DC comics. We do those every week, so you can check out those too. So that's us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching superhero TV shows, but always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.